hope that you are ready to understand some meditation, right? There are many meditation techniques. When we think about Kriya Yoga, it is something like this, that finding the same truth in all kind of spiritual practices. For example, if I belong to Christian, you belong to Islam, somebody Buddhist, somebody Jainism, how to find one truth in all. That is the Kriya Yoga meditation. When you practice, you will find among all various teachings, we are able to connect ourselves with the same unity. Let us, if you are professor in physics, somebody is in math, somebody in chemistry, others are in psychology. There are various subjects. How to find the same truth in all. Moment we realize the same truth in all, then we feel unity. We don't feel division. Kriya Yoga meditation is just some spiritual practice in which we experience unity among all, based on the color of the skin, based on the gender, based on the age group, nationality, different habit, different profession. When you practice Kriya Yoga meditation, then we realize connection with all. When we feel connection with all, then we have peace. That peace we are seeking. When we feel, okay, I'm different because of my dress and my hair. Your dress is different, your style is different. Then we feel little bit strange that we are different. When try to feel the same basic existence in all, then we feel unity. Therefore, Kriya Yoga meditation is a great spiritual practice. When you practice sincerely, we don't feel that America means US and Canada are two, we feel one. Try to compare all nations, South America, North America, Asia, Europe. You will find that all various countries, each and every country belong to all persons. Suppose that we all are practitioners, so many persons. Then in our consciousness, we will feel that we are Canadian, as well as we are American, as well as we are Chinese, as well as we are Indian. We never feel any difference. That we feel such great peace that is having no language. We cannot paint, we cannot write, we cannot speak the peace what we feel moment we realize real unity. This is what Kriya Yoga meditation is. And this practice is so simple, it is so simple that nobody will have this question that it is difficult for me. You will never find anyone in the whole world who will say, oh, it is difficult for me. But practicing traditional so-called yoga system in which you place your head down, leg up, majority will find, no, I can't do it. Or when you stand, try to curve your spine back and try to hold the heels. You will find majority, they can't do it. Or forward bending up to the extent that our forehead should touch the knee joint, spine have complete curve, will be difficult for many. But suppose that it is not difficult, you can have a headstand, you can bend backward, you can bend forward, then what you are going to get? Almost very little. Doing such great work and achievement is very little. Then we do not want to do that. such great exercise, keep on doing every day, like circus. Like you see in the Olympic, you see how much they do? You will find some WhatsApp university, you know WhatsApp university? And that you will find somebody will do charismatic movement, standing on toes. Then how much exercise they have to do, and what is the achievement? Achievement mostly negative. When you leave, you will get heart problem, you will get blood pressure, you will get so many complications in ligament, in joints. But we want to do some charismatic work. This is our nature. Therefore we like rocket. We like jet plane, non-stop flight. We want something more imagination. Then why we want that? Because within head to toes, we have such great knowledge. Moment you are one with that knowledge, you will feel your presence everywhere. For example, if you are in swing, when you are in swing, imagine that somebody put anesthesia in you and keep on moving swing, you will not feel anything because your mind is off. It is mind which makes us to feel something. Therefore, in Kriya Yoga meditation, we suspend function of mind. The mind is away from duality, then we don't have any problem. Because suppose that you imagine, okay, all right, I feel here something. What is that? It is cancer, cancer, cancer. Keep on telling every day, one day you will get cancer. Though you don't have it at present, but you will create it by your psychic thoughts. When I say, oh, you are very good, let us imagine that you criticize every day to someone, but someone is having great honor, respect for you. Every day, praising. One day time will come, you will be best friend, you will never criticize. Why it happens? Because of the thought. In Kriya Yoga meditation, we experience a thought in which we criticize no one. We never compare. We accept you as such. We believe in diversity. We do not have this expectation that you should live like me or I should live like you. When we live differently, this is called beauty. Let us imagine that everybody faces the same, then we will feel bored. We will try to keep eyes closed. Yes, I know it. What is the same face? Everywhere the same face. Because this diversity is beauty. When you practice Kriya Yoga meditation, then you love diversity. You love varieties of the language. Somebody talk very politely. Somebody will talk very harsh. Somebody have very bad language, shouting. Somebody is very calm. But if you practice Kriya Yoga meditation, you will like all. Therefore, this meditation brings real peace in our life. Moment you accept diversity, then you are accepting beauty of the nature. We should not have this idea that all persons should appear the same. No. All persons should realize that each and every existence may be appearing different, but a structural component is the same. For example, H2O in the form of vapor. What is the structural component? H2O. And the same thing in solid form, ice. What is the structural component? H2O. Something when we drink, what is the structural component? Same H2O. Therefore, each and every creation of cosmos, you can say stone, liquid, and plant, any plant, microscopic or macroscopic big, and animals, viruses, start from viruses up to the giant, like elephant and whale and human beings. A structural component of each and every creation is the same. Moment you realize this, then you have no problem with anyone. This is what Kriya Yoga meditation brings a realization. When we realize structural component is the same, then we try to draw a formula, a principle, because we have to tell everybody. Then what we have a common name, God. God means some power, the power which brings creation, all kind of creation, energy waves, atoms, molecules. Many molecules are together, we have different creation. Then how to protect those creation, second power. How to make a change according to need. Therefore, these three kind of activities, creation, preservation and change, this is all operated by one intelligence, that is called God. Therefore, creation, generation are the same. And when you create something, you will have the knowledge how to operate. Then you will have knowledge how to make a change, how to develop. Suppose that if we want microphone like this, now we want to make a change, we want collar mic. Then because we know the technology, we know how to create it, then you can make a change. That change is called development. It is not destruction. Then G for generation, O for operation, D for development is called God. The structural component of each and every creation is God. As we say, energy has become atoms. Hydrogen atoms, helium atoms, oxygen, nitrogen, so many atoms. Energy has become atoms. Then what is the creative principle of energy? Thought has become energy. How to understand? With one thought you feel very energetic. And there is depressive thought, you feel weakness. It means thought creates energy. Then who is creating thought? That is called God. Therefore, a structural component of all things is God. When you practice Kriya Yoga meditation, then we are practicing presence of God. Moment you practice it, fight stops. Comparison stops. Suppose that we say, oh, this person is bad. Why this person is bad? Because he doesn't know anything. Only how to work badly, only one thing is knowing by this person. That is called sickness, illness. Therefore, what is our aim of a doctor? To help sick person. You cannot fight sick person, you have to do medicine, you have to give medicine. Then we develop a thought. Person who is ignorant, they need more protection. They need more help. Person who are wise, they do not need more help. They are wise. They will help themselves. At present, what we think some person is bad, that person in jail. The jail is not center of reforming anyone. Therefore, as we are having here center doing some service, like this, there are many centers in which we have to teach the person how to realize greatness within. And how to realize greatness within, that is called Kriya Yoga meditation. What does it mean, greatness? For example, inside atom, there is a great power. We control a rocket with the help of a remote control. Through the rays we are controlling rocket. We are controlling satellite. And what is the weight of rays? You cannot measure. Very subtle wave. And from where that wave is coming from atom? It means inside atom there is a great power. Then what is this finger? So many atom molecules, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen. What is the protein? Nitrogen, oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, protein. Therefore, within the same hydrogen atom which we drink as a water, Same hydrogen atom exists in this skin. Its nature is different. As same human being, when you are in medical, you will appear differently. When you are in IT, technology, you will have different knowledge. But the same hydrogen atom, when it is in the skin, it will behave differently. When it is with the drinking water, it will behave differently. Therefore, all various atoms which exist in all over the cosmos, they exist within our own head to toes. And they appear differently. When try to feel head to toes, accept all changes, then you are accepting evolved stage of atomic kingdom. Same oxygen when going inside, when it becomes one with the hemoglobin, we call it oxyhemoglobin. The same oxygen when it is attached with the bone, with the muscles, it starts behaving differently. Same oxygen when it is one with the neurons, it will behave differently. Then oxygen which is outside is having different quality. Oxygen with the neurons is having different quality. Therefore, when we feel head to toes, we find all kind of atom molecules which exist in the cosmos. They are within my own existence. They are more evolved stage. Therefore, when you feel head to toes more and more, whatever we feel, accept it. This is the best. This is the best. When you are working with the arm, what you feel in the arm is the best. When you are walking, what you feel in both legs is the best. Now you are not walking, still what you feel the best. This is called praising the glory of creation, which has become my own existence, which has become your existence. This is called Kriya Yoga meditation. It is so simple. How to practice? Feel arms. What you feel is good. Okay, all right. Now raise arms up. What you feel now? Good. Please keep it half an hour. What you feel now? Very good. Oh, it is tiredness. Not tiredness. This is good. This is different function of the same atom. Therefore, this is called Kriya Yoga meditation. It is so simple. But it is so simple still we can't understand without practice. When try to think of teaching of Jesus Christ, what is the teaching of Jesus Christ? It is the Kriya Yoga meditation. How we don't understand what Jesus Christ has explained. I believe that you must be knowing the name of Jesus Christ. You may be knowing what is the Bible. If you are not knowing, I am introducing you. Jesus Christ was having one teaching to realize his nature, that Jesus Christ is immortal. And he is explaining that I came from Father. I am here teaching what my Father is giving me advice. I am giving the message, then I will go. It means he is explaining that I am eternal. I was, I am, and I will be. And what is the water? When you drink water, same water was before. And after drinking, after water will exist. The water is also eternal. When we are breathing, this air is eternal. This is the teaching of the Christianity and teaching of the Vedas, teaching of the Krishna's teaching is the same, that we are eternal. We change our form. When we are zygote, very small microscopic structure in embryonic life, like a seed, it starts growing. At present we are in this form. Like seed, and seed become big tree. Again from the tree again will be seed. Therefore this is a phenomena of change. Phenomena of change, when we disappear, does not mean we died. We exist in different form. When you practice Kriya Yoga meditation, then we learn the science of reappearance and disappearance. As you learn science, hydrolysis of the water. Water is visible, under hydrolysis it disappears. Then water is converted to hydrogen oxygen, which we cannot see with the eyes. Again combine hydrogen oxygen, we get water. Kriya meditation is the science in which we learn how to reappear, how to disappear. Things are very simple, but when you listen, it looks tough. Suppose that there is a teaching, try to eat this food, you will get energy. We don't understand by eating how you will get energy. Then try to eat and observe. This is the water drink, ye will satisfy your thirst. Thirst is a consciousness, like we are consciousness. Thirst and hunger you can accept to existence. Try to satisfy your thirst. How you will satisfy your thirst? Take water. I don't believe in this. Then drink, you will feel satisfaction. In the same way, hunger is like a person. Me and you, in the same way, hunger is here. He exists within. Satisfy hunger. How to satisfy hunger? Eat. When you will eat, hunger feel good. I am good now. Therefore, this is called complete practical training. In this you keep just reading and reading and listening, then we become mad. If anything is perfect science, it is not advised to keep on listening and reading. If a person who read about God more, they become mental. When try to read about a religion more, about God more, they will have more fighting nature. Because they read more, they don't practice. Therefore, this is important to practice. And I hope let us practice few minutes now.